Go. Go. Okay. Good to be back. Yesterday was our first day back. We obviously got out of shape, out of condition, which was to be expected. We play a really good Louisville team on Sunday. I think, how many times I've said, I think Chris Mack's one of the best coaches in the country. I think they're a really good basketball team. Got a lot of really good players. They're hard to guard, like great defense. And, we'll see how, we are, what we do, we'll do the best we can to prepare. A little out of sorts, I would assume. I hope I'm wrong, but, being off for as long as we did, plus the conditioning and the cardio part, we'll have to work our way back into that. But we're excited to get back to be able to play. And COVID hit us pretty hard. I was hit hard. So we'll all be masked, and all of us on the bench, coaches, players who are not in the game will be masked. I'll probably pull out my face shield, not that I want to, but as I've said before, it's hard for me to coach in a mask. But I sure don't want COVID again, because it hit me hard. And so and I don't want anyone else to get it. So we're gonna do all we can to do the best we can to, when we're not in the game, we'll be, per doctor's orders, we'll wear our mask or face shield or whatever it may be, and do our best we can on Sunday.
Okay, let's do the same order we did before, and with Rod, Kelly, Ken, and Randy for a few rounds, and then we'll wrap it up. Rod?
Hey, Josh, when we were last together after the Georgia State game, I believe Debo and Bubba were the two guys that were out because of the COVID. Where did it go from there to the point where the games had to be postponed?
We had a high number of COVIDs. And so because of the numbers, we had to shut down.
Kelly?
Josh, just, having gone through this already and going back through it again, are there lessons you've taken from this and how to kind of quickly turn around, adapt, or is it just sort of on the fly again, trying to figure things out?
You're just on the fly trying to figure things out. I mean, like yesterday, it wasn't like you could really practice and do normal drills. I mean, you're just trying to get conditioning. I think when we play Sunday, that'll be 13 days since the game. So, it is what it is. And you got to be flexible. We're in the middle of obviously the pandemic, and I understand. I mean, I had COVID, so I know when you have it, and I felt I had it pretty good. And I mean, and I feel like I'm a healthy young man, and I work out, I exercise, but I was in no place to be able to get up and down. And I could see that I probably have lost conditioning just my own personal self. So I could imagine our players, our student athletes. So, so it's just going to take some time, Kelly. And we experienced it last year. We had to deal with it. We had some different pauses. We came back, that one pause, man, we were unbelievable going into Clemson. We had like one day of practice and we just played. And you just don't know how you're going to be. You don't know how you're going to respond because again, being in the middle of the season, stoppages is not normal. That's just not a normal way, but we're not the only one. Louisville had to deal with it. And what I was going to say is just that we'll do the best we can with it. And what we've learned is what I know is you have to be flexible. You got to be willing to adjust. You got to take it one day at a time. You got to be, free flowing in a sense, no time to complain. And, we'll be in a situation where and I think for the entire season, there's just going to be a lot of inequalities as in terms of schedule preparation for the games for everybody, because it's just not going to be fair for everybody, because you're going to have to try to get the games in, and there's going to be less preparation for different teams, if that makes sense. So the equality of game prep is not going to be equal this season like it wasn't last season. And everyone will have to adjust and do the best they can. And when they get on the floor, try to win the game.
Yeah.
Josh, could you tell yesterday that certain guys or most guys, their conditioning level wasn't where it had been?
Absolutely. We were not in good condition yesterday.
Randy?
Jordan had some pretty doggone good minutes in the last game that was played, given the fact that Malik Williams is a darn good perimeter shooter as well as a post presence. Would Jordan's athleticism and so on maybe lend itself to being somebody to get after him?
Well, I think we're just in a situation. Jordan Mecca really altered the game and helped us win the game versus Georgia State. And so we've got 3 5 men and Jordan Mecca and Rodney Howard and Saba, and it could be game by game as guys go, who's playing well, and just kind of make it work from there, Randy. But he did a great job for us last game. Really proud of Jordan Mecca. He's gotten better, really gotten better. And Malik with Louisville is a good player. He's tall, he can block shots, he can shoot the three. That's what makes it difficult, is he can stretch the floor.
Yeah.
Not only can he score in the paint, he can shoot the 3-point shot as well too. And then just to go back, Ken, us being out of shape, which we were totally out of shape and out of sorts yesterday, was to be expected. I didn't expect us to all of a sudden be able to run, a 5K.
Rod?
Josh, you were just talking about, stretching the court and shooting threes. Noah Locke is a guy that really you have to watch. I think 7 of his 8 shots against Wake Forest were threes. He led him in that big second half scoring. I imagine that you've told the players that this is a guy we really have to keep an eye on.
Well, Rod, he's a really good shooter. He was a good shooter in high school. He's a good shooter at Florida. He hit big threes against Wake Forest that really helped them win the game in key times on Wednesday. So he's a big time shooter, and you got to be there when he catches. You can't give him any room.
Kelly?
In terms of getting Bubba back into things, just how do you manage the minutes? How do you get him into the flow of the game, as trying to adjust and bring him back into the fold a little bit?
That's another thing. Not only are you kind of out of sorts because of the cardio, but then I got to try to work Bubba back in. So it would have been nice to have Bubba versus USC, which I was planning, and then Georgia State, and then Alabama A&M before we start conference play. But we got hit with the COVID, and so like I mentioned earlier, you just got to be free flowing with it, and we'll make it work. He'll play. How it all works itself out, I don't know. It adds another guy to our mix. I'm glad he's back. He's a good player, and it's not going to be easy, for me to be able to keep it to a 6-7 man rotation. It's just, and it could get a little bit, I prefer where everyone knows their roles and knows where they stand in the rotation at this point of the year, but I don't think we're there, unfortunately, because of, we've got a lot of guys, we got good players. Maybe not everyone's separated themselves, some kind of jumbled a little bit, and now you're adding Bubba to the mix, which is a good thing, not negative. It's positive. It's just I got to figure it out, and we'll just maybe go with groups that are playing well. We'll just keep those groups in, and hopefully things work itself out. I mean, in Georgia State, Tristan came in and gave us great minutes. Miles played more minutes than maybe I initially thought he would, gave us great minutes. Jordan Mecca, I didn't plan on him playing that game, and came in and gave us great minutes. And so just everyone's got to stay ready game by game.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure I understand, like Jordan Usher had said like that this is the 3rd day you guys have practiced, and they've been in smaller groups. Is that?
No,
correct?
Yesterday was the first day we were able to have team practice. Today will be our
Okay.
2nd day.
So were they able to be in smaller groups? Like
No. If a guy or two who did not test positive was able to still work out on his own.
Mhm.
If you tested positive, you're not allowed to work out. So we'll have 3 days of team practice prior to our game on Sunday.
Yeah,
Randy?
I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, we got time for a couple more. Rod, you got one?
Yeah. Hey, Josh, you said some of the guys that weren't positive had a chance maybe to work out by themselves. You have a guy like Debo who missed the game, and shooting is an important part of his game. Have some of those guys had a chance to maybe get some shots up in addition to the practice?
for the ones that were positive, you were not able to work out until the day, until you're allowed to, based on the quarantine ended. And, and no coaches were around. So I didn't even ask them. They didn't have to. I was not involved in that. If someone was able to, and they were positive and they were negative and they wanted to work out, that was on their own, but nothing was mandatory or required.
Kelly?
In terms of just jumping into the gauntlet right now, I know this is not at all what you wanted. Just how, I guess, how do you look at approaching? I know you were very excited about gearing up for ACC play and everything was building towards that. And it feels like the rug got pulled out a little bit in front of you as you guys are starting to show some signs of life.
Yeah, Kelly, I was really hoping that, I really felt we would hit all cylinders. I'm still hoping that, I just think we got, and again, we're not the only team. We're tons of teams around the country, and Louisville, the same thing. We just got, we got a detour, we got hit with the COVID. And of course, like I said, we didn't get it. I thought Bubba would be able to play a few games before we got into it. So, yeah, I don't have unfortunately, I don't have an exact, can tell you, hey man, these 8 guys or these 7, 8, 9 guys are 100% in our rotation. I just think it's going to be game by game until we figure it out. Unfortunately, it's going to take us a few more games to figure it out, because I got to see how Bubba is. Bubba hasn't played all year. I mean, he's been practicing, but as we all know, games and practices are different. And, can Jordan Mecca put 2 back-to-back games together? You know what I mean? We need Michael DeVoe to play better. Obviously, last game he didn't play well, but Jordan Usher was outstanding. So it's all those things. We're just trying to, I think, just got hit by a little detour, and we just, and we got some tough games coming up, back-to-back games Sunday, and we're planning Duke on Tuesday. That will move forward, be normally as scheduled. So we'll have to be ready to play on both games.
Last question from Ken.
2 things. One, do you expect has everyone been cleared? And then second, you've had some challenges really coming out in the second half and being consistent. Is that something that you feel like needs to be addressed somehow?
Not everyone will be able to play on Sunday, and who won't, I'm not going to say. But then secondly, regarding the second half, that is an issue. Again, there's no doubt about that. That has been an issue with us, and part of it's a scoring droughts we have during that second half, and we had that issue. We've had that issue. We had an issue versus Georgia State. We had a major scoring drought again. We just couldn't score, but we were able to get a big bucket by Tristan, and then Jordan Usher hit some big key shots. And we made free throws down the stretch.
That's it. Thanks, Coach.
Okay, thanks
Josh.
everybody. Yeah,
Appreciate
happy New Year.
Josh.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.